about many horses and no more school. I'll be here with a story about the Bitty Bouncer program. It's teaching kids the basics of basketball. I'll also have another edition of Incredible But True. We'll tell you about a town that's for sale. So join Stephanie and I today on Action News for Kids.
Action News for Kids is brought to you by Pudgy's Good Time Pizza and Subs, a great treat when family and friends get together. And by Pa's Woodshed, your neighborhood of home furnishings, under the big chair on Montgomery Street.
Basketball is a group sport. A team has to work together in order to win. In Windsor, basketball is more than a team effort. It's a community effort. Everybody wins. The varsity players who have finished as winners for the last 3 years, all the way down to the youngsters who desire to be like them. Action News for Kids reporter Jason Kress has more.
These young men are members of the Windsor varsity basketball team. These young men hope to play for the Windsor team someday. They are 5th and 6th graders from the Windsor School District and are part of the Bitty Bouncer basketball program. Every Saturday, for 6 weeks, some 45 kids are taught basic basketball skills from Coach Gary Vale and the Windsor varsity team. Coach Vale explained what the kids do.
Most of the stuff we do is ball handling and dribbling because it's something they can be successful with. They can pass pretty well, but it's very difficult for kids at that age to shoot well. We try to teach the fundamentals of shooting, but most of it is ball handling and dribbling.
Aside from learning the fundamentals of the game, these kids will be showing off their skills on February 12th during halftime at the junior varsity game. Along with Coach Vale, the varsity players help the kids learn the routine.
Stop. Left. Right. Go. Yep. Left. Right. Down.
Basketball in Windsor is a community effort. Parents come to watch the Bitty Bouncers, and crowds of over 200 are not unlikely for most basketball games.
In our town right now, the community overall, the school community raised well over $37,000 to have athletics in this school this year, and that's for 7th grade teams all the way through varsity.
All varsity players must help out with the program, but they don't seem to mind. Frank Martino is one of the 3 captains on the varsity team.
It's not bad. Most of them are all right. Some get kind of wise, but it's not bad. Just try to show the kids the fundamentals, the basics of the game, really. Help them get in the line and stuff, show them how to do things to do it wrong.
Mike Van Zant is another captain and one of the original Bitty Bouncers.
It's fun to, teaching little kids, trying to make them better than, showing them, just helping them out. They look up to the varsity players quite a bit,
We wondered what it is like playing with these big guys.
Well, it's hard, and you get a lot of experience playing with them. They tell you the good shots and stuff.
Well, it's kind of fun, and I always try to be better than them, but I'm not.
As some kids told us, some of the practices are pretty tough.
A lot of the ball handling skills are real hard. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's rough.
Well, it's fun. They can be pretty strict sometimes.
It's tough on the varsity players, too. Jeff Bank is another captain for the team and is also an original Bitty Bouncer.
Sometimes the kids don't listen, but usually they're pretty good. Sometimes you get frustrated because they're younger, but then you remember back to when we were Bitty Bouncers and we were like that.
Even though it might be hard for some, these kids are dedicated to the program.
One Saturday it was snowy, and there were still 33 kids here. They all walked from all over Windsor, and they all came out of the cubby holes and everything just to get here. They really love it.
I do think it's real important for them to look at somebody that is older than them that is very successful at what they do, and our varsity players are very successful at that. I want them to come here only because I hope they like the game, and I hope they want to be around kids that also like the game.
This is Jason Kress reporting for Action News for Kids.
Wouldn't it be great if you could have your own horse?
I think a horse would make a great pet, but where would you put it? I mean, a horse can't just curl up under the table like a puppy, you know.
Sure you can, if you have a small horse. We met a family who have 100 of them.
You don't have to have a Texas ranch to raise 100 head of horses. When they're this size, full grown, they're not much bigger than a German Shepherd dog. That's why the Ebert family decided to settle down on this small farm in Madison, Indiana, to raise 4 children in one of the biggest herds of miniatures in the country.
It just kind of snowballed. we got 1, then 2, then we bought, I think we came home one weekend with 12 mares. And I think at that point I said, this is it, you know, we're really involved.
Mary Ann Ebert says miniatures have become popular because of their small size, their gentleness, and because they just don't eat much. But feeding time is just one daily chore at the Little King farm. These horses are worked out every day, no matter what. The family shows these horses. They put them on machines to build up their tiny muscles. That way, when they go to horse shows, the horses look good and strong, and they fetch a better price, $2,000 to $4,000 on the average.
We've sold them to people in the back seat of Lincoln Continentals. People take them on trips with them in their station wagons. Kids just walk them around like dogs at times. They can live in a large dog house.
They just fit into our lifestyle so well. I would never trade them.
Do you know what shoplifting is? The dictionary says shoplifting is the stealing of displayed merchandise from a store. A person who shoplifts is a thief. It doesn't matter how old the shoplifter is, it's still a crime. When Action News for Kids returns, we'll tell you more about kids and shoplifting, so stay with us.
This burger or this burger. Some people would have you believe that that's the only choice. But when I'm really hungry for something delicious and nutritious, both those guys just don't make it. I go for a Pudgy's Pizza. No pre-frozen, pre-cooked stuff for me. Just a freshly made hot and tasty Pudgy's Pizza. My favorite sausage. So the next time you see a commercial plugging these guys, remember, Pudgy's knocks them out.
Remember me, the Pa's Woodshed hobo? Been on vacation. But now I'm coming home to Pa's again. Excuse me, are you here to see the Broy Hill Showcase Gallery? Boy, what? Pardon me. Craftsmanship and quality and customer services I'm proud of. Jeez. And here is the natural furniture.
Oh, Adam, nice table.
There's been some big changes at Pa's. Now we're Pa's Neighborhood. 6 great stores in one. Under the Chair on Montgomery Street.
Action News for Kids.
Also, when people have no need for an item, they try and sell it. Old furniture, clothes, and of course, houses. Our next story adds a bit of a twist to the usual sale.
The town of Drew in southern Oregon is safely nestled in the foothills of the Cascade Mountains. And if you're interested, you can buy Drew for $36,000. Gus Franceschi owns a town, and he lives here with his wife and daughter. They have a tenant living in the cabin next to the general store. The store closed down, and Franceschi wants to sell out to someone who'll open it back up.
We're going to sell it to people who are very serious, very independent, and who are able to cope with the lifestyle necessary out here. Very aesthetic.
Franceschi bought Drew 4 years ago when he drove by it and spotted a for sale sign similar to the one that he's put up. The town has a number of selling points, a creek in the backyard, serene surroundings, an acre and a half of land complete with a store, and 3 rental units. Franceschi had to close the store when the post office moved out, and he put all his money into his rentals. Richard Bonney has lived in Drew for more than 65 years, and his parents used to own the Drew store. He says he'd like to see the old place reopen.
I doubt that one can operate, though, because it costs too much to haul stuff in here anymore. Everything has to be delivered. and it just costs more than the people can afford to pay.
But if you're up to the challenge and you like tranquility, then Drew may be the spot for you.
Shoplifting isn't something you talk about a lot. In fact, some of you may never even heard of it. Shoplifting is taking something, anything from a store that doesn't belong to you. It's stealing merchandise. Unfortunately, a lot more people in the United States are committing this crime. Kids aren't the only ones doing it either. Senior citizens who can't afford to buy clothes shoplift too.
The Home I Bring School in Endwell is part of a program to help kids understand that shoplifting is as bad as committing any other crime. They viewed a film called Only Losers Play to help them understand why shoplifting is wrong. We'd like to show it to you, and then we'll listen in on Mrs. Kubisi's fifth grade class discussion.
If you think shoplifting is a kid's game, you'd better think again. Anytime someone takes something from a store without paying for it, they've committed a crime. And no matter what age the person is, or how big or small the item stolen, that person will be treated as a thief.
Oh, come on, Carl, don't be a chicken. I'm not a chicken, I just don't want it. Oh, yeah, sure, you're just scared. Little old scaredy pants Carl, afraid to take some candy. Big deal. Nobody will miss it. Nobody will care. Besides, it's just some candy. Well, if you're so cool, why don't you take it? I've done it lots of times. Look, we'll both take some. If you're too scared to do something this easy, you ought to go play with the little kids or go home and cry to your mother. Here.
To, officer. He made me do it. Honest.
Hey, look, it was just some candy. Please don't call my parents. Please. Hello? Please.
Is this Mrs. Williams?
Yes, it is.
Yes, ma'am. Do you have a son named Carl Allen Williams?
Yes, I do.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm with store security, and we've just apprehended your son with his friend for shoplifting, and I'm afraid you're going to have to come down here.
Oh, come on, Carl, don't be a chicken.
Boy, things sure are different since Kathy moved away. We sure did a lot together. Good old Kathy. She sure knew how to have fun. Oh, well, guess I'll have to think of something else to do. Maybe I could buy something really neat, like these bracelets. Get one for Kathy, too. But they're too expensive. They're really small, though. I bet. Yeah, no one will notice. I can just slip them into my pocket. Nobody's around. This is easy. I won't get caught if I just walk out of the store. Mr. Edwards? Mr. Edwards?
Oh, yes.
I took these bracelets without paying for them, and I'll be glad to give them back or give you your money back.
I'm so disappointed in my daughter, Mr. Edwards. She's never done anything like this before.
I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again.
Well, I certainly hope not, young lady. Normally, it's our policy to turn shoplifters over to the police. But since you did come in on your own and you seem to realize the seriousness of your act, I guess I can work with you this time.
I'm so sorry. I just wasn't thinking.
A lot of people think that taking something from a store isn't a big crime because what they take won't be missed. That's just not true. I had to pay for these bracelets. No one gave me this merchandise. I had to pay for everything in here.
Yes, sir.
Now, you took something that belonged to me. What if I took your ring?
What? I guess I'd be pretty upset.
You remember that the next time you're tempted to take something without paying for it.
There won't be a next time.
I won't get caught if I just walk out of the store.
Brad, I've been through this with you before. You just don't seem to learn. We give you a big enough allowance so you can buy the special things you want.
But, Dad...
No buts, Brad. I'm not giving you the extra money to buy that game. If you'd saved your allowance instead of spending it the minute you got it, then you would have the money to buy the game. It's all part of growing up, son. Learning that sometimes you have to do without because you're saving your money for more important things. If you really want that game, Brad, then you'll start saving your money.
Thanks a lot, Dad. If it was Sally, you'd give her the money.
That's just not true, Brad. Your sister gets an allowance the same as you do, but she knows how to manage her money, and we expect you to learn the same.
Sure, Dad. Okay. I can handle it.
Just try harder, Brad.
I don't need the money. I'll just take it. And no one will know.
Brad, I've never been more disappointed in you in my life. Wait till your mother finds out. This will break her heart. We both had more faith than you. How could you do this to yourself and us? I thought you knew better. Instead of saving your allowance, you thought you could take the easy way out and just steal what you wanted. Well, listen, mister. You will pay for this action. You're grounded for the next month. And you'll earn every penny of your allowance by staying home and working around the house.
I don't need the money. I'll just take it. And no one will know.
Oh, wow. I've been wanting one of these for a long time. It'd be perfect for my collection. Oh, well, I can't buy it today. I don't have enough money. Guess I'll put it back. But it's the only one left. What if someone else buys it before I get the money? There may not be any more. What if just this time I take it? I've never done anything like that before, but this time is special. I know I wouldn't do it again, and no one is even around to see me. Nobody will find out.
Did you hear about Lisa? Yeah, she got caught stealing from a store. Boy, did she get in a lot of trouble. What did she steal? It was only a glass animal. She could have gotten the money for it. Why did she steal it? Who knows? She probably likes to steal things. Boy, that's weird. I'm going to watch my stuff when she's around. You and everyone else, the whole school knows about it. Some kids are calling her Lisa the Stealer. Gosh, I would have never thought that about her.
Nobody will find out.
Before you decide to shoplift, remember this. Shoplifting is not a kid's game. Shoplifting is a serious crime. It's your decision, and it's you who'll have to live with the guilt and the consequences.
All right, children, now that you have seen this very interesting film, can somebody volunteer to tell me why you think people steal?
Because they don't have any money, or they have their friends do it, so they think it's cool because their friends do it. Or sometimes they want it so bad and they won't wait, like they just want it now. Or else they want they want something else, so they take smaller items to resell them, or they buy it because they take it because they're not of age.
If you felt like you wanted to steal or shoplift from a store, Nicole, you just had that urge or desire one day or one moment, what could you do to help yourself?
You should think of the consequences, just like what could happen if you got caught, like get grounded and get punished really bad, and I think, and you could get put in jail.
Many people end up in jail. And if you ever see the sign in the store, we will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. Children, that's what it means. Fullest extent is the $1,000 fine and or jail. That means the fine plus jail, or maybe just the fine, or maybe just jail. I'd hate to be in either predicament. Angel.
Well, some people just play the game because they want to play the game. Some people shoplift just because they want to shoplift.
Okay, very good. That's how they are like. Any other reasons you want to talk about how a game is like shoplifting? Jason.
So in the game, you can win and you can lose, and in shoplifting, you can win and you can lose.
Excellent. Shelley, what did you think of the parents you saw in the film?
Well, they were sort of reasonable. Well, like, they weren't really mean because they were doing what, like, if I was a parent, I would do. So they were probably doing it because to make sure their kids wouldn't do it again.
Did you learn anything special that you hadn't thought about before this film was shown to you?
Well, I learned that I wouldn't shoplift because a lot of things can happen to you and it could just ruin your whole life. And you just feel bad because everybody wouldn't like you and you wouldn't be able really to get a job or anything.
We would like to thank the League of Community Action for the use of their film and the 5th graders at Homer Brink Elementary School. Steph?
There's lots more ahead on today's show. We'll take a look at some kids who couldn't be happier about the school bell and another edition of
Incredible but True.
We'll be right back.
The ingredients are the very best Pudgy's can find. Rolls baked fresh daily, the finest meats and cheeses, and the freshest vegetables. And only Pudgy's knows how to turn these ingredients into the best specials in town. A medium sub, French fries, and a 12-ounce beverage, just $2.19. 2 slices of regular pizza and a 12-ounce beverage, just $1.25. Or 2 slices of pepperoni pizza and a 12-ounce beverage, only $1.35. Nutritious and delicious specials, only from Pudgy's Good Time Pizza and Subs.
Remember me, the Pa's Woodshed hobo? Been on vacation. But now I'm coming home to Pa's again. Excuse me, are you here to see the Broy Hill Showcase Gallery? Broy what? Pardon me. Boy, they done some changes.
Hello. Custom drapes, sir?
Drapes?
There's been some big changes at Pa's. Now we're Pa's Neighborhood. 6 great stores in one. Under the chair on Montgomery Street.
And now back to Action News for Kids.
It's time for that famous feature.
Incredible but True.
The year was 1918. Captain J.H. Headley was an American fighting during World War I. He was flying 15,000 feet over German territory with his Canadian pilot, Captain Makepeace. Suddenly, they found themselves being attacked by German fighters. Trying to evade the enemy, Makepeace took the plane into a near-vertical dive, heading right for the ground. The quick maneuver surprised Headley, who was pulled out of the seat and into the sky. The Canadian pilot gave up his comrade and lost and continued plummeting to the ground. This continued for several hundred feet until finally leveling off. Then, incredibly, Hadley landed on the back of the plane. The steep dive created a powerful suction in which the American was caught. As you can imagine, Hadley hung on for dear life, so somehow managed to climb back into the seat. The plane touched down on safe territory, and Captain Hadley's escape from death was complete. That's an amazing story.
No, it's incredible, but true.
But don't you just wish it was summertime already? I can't wait till school is over for the year. Just think, we'll be able to go swimming and play soccer and stay outside and...
For the year? I usually can't wait for the day to be over. I bet no one is happier than I when the school bell rings and classes are over for the day.
Well, I guess kids are pretty glad any time school is out. Action News for Kids took a look at kids when they finished classes for the day and for the year. When do you think they looked happier? This is usually the time when I say, we're out of time for this week. But before I do that, I would like to say thanks to all the people who've been writing to us. We really appreciate hearing from you. Feel free to jump us a line anytime. We always welcome story ideas about unusual events and people. Just write to Action News for Kids, Box 1200, Binghamton, New York, 13902. Now I can say thanks for joining us. Brett and I will be back next Friday at 4 with another edition of Action News for Kids. See you then.
Action News for Kids has been brought to you by Pudgy's Good Time Pizza and Subs, a great treat when family and friends get together. And by Pa's Woodshed,